Okay, look. It's part 2 of Daily 691, where we learn to be a better gamer quickly. We're going to look at some more SOS games, some early game type things, where we're going to see weird situations in the way that SOS swims his way to success. In the game we go. Here it is. SOS. He's gonna cannon rush, okay? He has no shame in who he is. He's gonna build some damn cannons. And the sort of theme that I want to draw from this episode is stuff getting thrown into an unpredictable circumstance where we need to just say, what's the edge we're trying to exploit? And here, SOS just has a nice little cannoning location tucked away. Boink. Down she goes. A cannon, perhaps even two. I mean, this is kind of just insane. He's like trying to wall the drones in. I think he gets it, yeah. Oh, this must be just the most annoying thing in the world. So, what do we know that our opponent is going to be behind on? Well, we're seeing some gas. It's unclear as SOS whether he is ahead or behind in minerals. Really unclear if he's ahead or behind in minerals. SOS has had to build 2 cannons here. He has his hatch blocked. He spent a ridiculous boatload on cannons at this side of the map. Is he ahead or behind in minerals? Very unclear. But what SOS almost certainly is ahead on is tech. He can make sure his gateway doesn't get delayed that much more. He can focus on teching up. And what was the same exploit we saw in part 1 that's going to be happening here? Our opponent's going to be low on larvae. There's a hatch here just starting. Our opponent's just not going to have a lot of units. We're also pretty damn defended, you know what I'm saying? So, now that the first 100 gas has been mined, now that the gateway is done, you see an instant cybernetics core. And what next? +1 attack. Oh yeah. Really solid choice. It's almost impossible to be behind in upgrades at this point. SOS still trying to nobly keep vision of the high ground. We see Warp Gate, we see a Stalker. A very good timing to remember for yourselves and your children and your children's children is that when this is halfway done, get a Twilight Council. It's just a very nice timing. Per usual, SOS does something more consistently than any other Protoss I've ever seen. He always gets a Stalker. Every single game he gets a Stalker. Sometimes he'll get a Sentry, but he'll get a Stalker. Damn it. And then he's going to use the Stalker to scout about, to deny an Overlord creeping into his base. Here is the Twilight Council, up and up and en route. Doing some harassment, not a huge deal, but his opponent most notably is behind on Larva. Very behind on Larva. And watch this just great play from SOS. He's getting Blink. He's just going to throw down all the gateways in the whole wide world like it's nothing. I think this is a really elegant follow-up. We see the chrono boosting going on to get to +2. 3 gateways. There's going to be yet more gateways. Force fields, not a big deal. And 8 gates. What do you know? Does he get a robo here? I think he might get a robo. Yeah. For the vision detection. So this is a play that we've seen on previous dailies as a more long-form play. Going for this blink to take this expansion. Using this robo facility for observers as a sort of follow-up play, but What are we normally going to be up against? Really, it's just lings and roaches and low numbers, which for most Zergs means roaches for sure. Why would SOS choose this strategy style on this map? Because everything's really cramped on this map and force fields work really well. This is not as all-in as it seems, because we already have some control over this area with the ability to easily knock down this rock tower. Very force-fieldable locations, all very force-fieldable locations. Stalkers warping in. I mean, SOS is super sick with his follow-up attacks. Normally, with an attack like this, we would think that this is an all-in move from SOS, but he has plenty of probes. And most importantly, he has his robo done. So even this burrow that we're seeing researched in the main, not going to do anything. By keeping his opponent low on the larva count, and SOS still was able to go, I'm definitely ahead on the tech side of things. I'm just going to do a huge push that is great on this map. On the other map, Polar Knight, we got the chance to see this really cool Warp Prism-based play that was exploiting more or less the same thing. Just on a different map and in a different way. And this is one of the easiest wins. Frickin' ever. There's the Observer in case of Burrow. I think Burrow happens at some point and life's just like, I quit. So pretty, so clean, so elegant and lean. Gonna open up this other game between Curious and SOS. SOS just impresses the frickin' hell out of me. He's actually, I think, the only Protoss that I see consistently cannon rush and follow up with wins, like, all the time. Like, a lot of people get that cannon rushes are good and they'll commit to them and they'll win a lot, such as Haz or Haas. Many other players will be like, no, dude, no, you know what? I'm honorable, I'm not going to do it. And SOS is like, you know, I just want to win every single game. I think I'll do that. So first and foremost, SOS, we're starting to see, yeah, now I get why he goes for such a fast forge. Cannon rushing is one thing, but making sure that he can deal with these early cheesy plays is also really important. Plenty of time to get the gateways up. Or excuse me, not the gateways, the cannons up, getting a nexus. Let's see how he follows this bad boy up. So this is a pretty typical timing for us, for SOS. He's still a little bit ahead on tech. It's very difficult for our Zerg opponent to both tech and get a third. So SOS is going to do some checks. He sees no third here. He actually pulls all the way out and goes to the other third. Thirds dictate everything. Still getting the plus attack. Alright, excellent. He sees a third base, so you know what the opponent is almost certainly behind on? Tech. If you do an early pull strategy, it's pretty reasonable for you to go for a follow-up third or to go for a follow-up fast gas. Really hard for you to do both because you don't have enough drones. If you do try to do both, you won't have enough drones to support further drone production, so it'll almost be like killing this third hatch. And we see Curious, like, very, very broke. Actually, in the larva count, we see 5 larva. He needs to spend that like a frickin' sap. Still has more larva coming. So, SOS gets some gateways up. Why? Why would he get gateways up? This, I think, is kind of a weird play. It seems not to make sense, but if we see a third, pretty hard for our opponent to have gas. Pretty darn hard, so we're likely going to be up against slow lings and or slow roaches. So let's just push right away with Stalkers. Stalkers can easily kite a lot of slow lings and a lot of slow roaches. And indeed we see. We heard me talk about the 7-minute layer This is an 8-minute layer, because he's behind on tech. Slower speed, because he's behind on tech. Roach Warren right on time, because it only costs minerals and he's behind on tech. So SOS now has some options. He could expand right now. He can add to this push. Where's the other gateway? Is it not showing up yet? Where's the other one? Oh, here's the other one. He could add to this push. He could expand. He could just go to 6 gateways and do both. 6 gateways is easily enough to be able to take another hatch. Which means take another nexus. But this is really nice. Curious is going to be up against slow roaches. It's very uncommon to see really fast stalkers with a gateway attack. So this is certainly catching Curious off guard. But I mean, it's just so simple. We're exploiting the fact that he just doesn't have any speed. And I'm not saying ever that there is the one thing to exploit. That SOS is choosing the absolute correctest thing. It's just a thing that he's exploiting. And that's really about all it takes. And here's something I love, that SOS is like, wait, I'm really winning this. Dude, I'm just going to get another gateway and just go kill him. This guy's probably dead, probably. A couple Zealots in this mix. Chrono Boost on the +2, Chrono Boost on the Blinku. Now, if you're curious, you're just going to be... This is just going to feel insane to you. To see an extremely fast 4-gate Stalker push, and then suddenly blink Stalkers, no one should prepare that. That's a very odd prepared strategy, but we see SOS just like the best at selecting the right strategy in the moment. These guys, you'll notice, they don't have speed yet. Very easy to exploit. Any point in time, just run away. Lots of blinking. Ooh, he gets a GG. Nice. Final game I want to watch, I think, is the weirdest one of them all. Just the most insane game. Curious versus SOS. Set 2 on Daedalus Point. Yeah! SOS starts off in a position that I think many would describe as just bad. Just awful. SOS is going to failedly cannon rush. Ooh. Very often when SOS has an opening and it goes awry, he thinks of the easiest way to turtle on 3 bases until he has a huge ass army. That's generally the trend that we see. So, SOS moves in here, throws down a pylon, scouts, tries to see if there's any gas geysers. There's not. In fact, a lot of these guys get pulled off. And SOS has only just gone Forge, Nexus, with 1 pylon in here. And then, amazingly, he just cannon rushes anyways. And then he even builds a gateway down here to wall off. Okay. Zerg's lost a lot of mining time. He's lost a couple of drones. I think he's going to lose... No, just 3 drones, and this gets cancelled. Kablooey. So, in the units... Or in the Lost, we see that there's 461 versus 200, but these drones were off mining for quite some time, so it might be pretty even in terms of just minerals. And SOS just does the smartest damn choices ever. Ooh! Mmm! I love it. First and foremost, chrono boosting out Probees, and then he's going to get up his Cybernetics Core. Now, what's the tech path of choice here? Again, one of my favorite things to exploit is, if I think Zerg's behind on tech, I'm just going to go Stargate. Stargate Robo, one of my favorite things. Stargate to make him get anti-air. Robo to kill Hydras that are good anti-air. But the way in which SOS does this is just nutty. So first he's going to scout here. He's going to see, you are finishing your hatch at 7. Whoa, that's crazy. That means this started at 6. Normally, a third hatch begins at like 4 minutes. This is like 2 minutes of hatchery I don't have to worry about, man. That's like 2 cycles worth of inject larva at least. So we know our opponent is not really going to be very high on the larva count again. But we're kind of behind on tech. We're kind of behind in economy. We're behind in a lot of the normal ways. So SOS gets Void Ray. Always a great technique to get the Void Ray up to help reinforce the expansion. Oracle's really fast and low investment. We can get in there and deal quite a bit of damage. Like, guaranteed. Oracle's just against Zerg, there's no way they're not going to deal a lot of damage. You see 7 of those get taken out, and the scouting can begin. And look at this, SOS just goes straight for an expand. There's really not going to be speedlings here. There, like, cannot be speedlings. There cannot be large numbers of much of anything. And especially nothing that would scare us, because, where is it? Where's the Void Ray? Hey, look, it's a Void Ray. It's going on an Overlord hunting mission right now. Just doing its part. Sentries plopping up as well. So this is where we're starting to see some information gathered. There's some extractors here. There's also extractors coming up here, which this Phoenix is seeing. 6 extractors. Now I want you to think about that. My opponent is delayed in a lot of ways. He's got a done layer. He's got 2 gas here. He's almost certainly got 2 gas here. We'll see it in a sec. There's a gas there. He's probably going 6 gas. Yeah, maybe 5 gas. I see a Hydralisk Den. Okay. Alright. Nice. What would you do? The average bear would say something like, alright, we're going to go Colossus, so we're going to slowly tech up our way to, I don't know, maybe Thermal Lance, maybe some Blink and stuff like that. Yeah. Very notably, no upgrades are down yet. We're seeing the Colossus come out. These 2 gateways are part of the basic defense wall off. Here's some insane plays coming up for SOS. Now, there's probably not going to be a lot of Roach Hydra because you are going 6 gas, and this was late, and you really need the Roaches to be very effective there. But the one thing that would scare me, actually, is the big transition to Mutalisks. So suddenly, just like out of the blue, SOS just builds 2 more Stargates. I think one of the SOS is the greatest Stargate innovator in this matchup. Period. He has like defined what makes the Stargate scary in this matchup. And look at this, even favoring air weapons before ground weapons. So at a simple level, SOS isn't quite sure of what his opponent's doing. He doesn't know if it's a big Hydra play, or a big Muta play, or if it's Hydra Roach, or if it's fast tech up. So he's going to get the strongest, well-rounded generalist force of Void Ray Colossus. He can't attack for a long time. He definitely cannot do that. But certainly can stay alive. More Void Rays coming out. He's seeing what's up with his Oracle. The constant Phoenix scouting is really, really, really critical. And I think these cannons are really meaningful because it's so easy to just not build a cannon and to build a gateway instead. To think in terms of trying to get to the next big push, the big attack, but dude, SOS doesn't have that anywhere near on his mind. Look how late this is. Gets +1, and hey, when it's halfway done, there's Twilight Council coming up on up. Last thing.
We meet our fate.
Friendly time. Blink Stalker. So everything's being generally scouted quite aggressively. There's some attempted move-ins. But Void Ray Colossus in huge numbers. Shut it down. Stalker's starting to get morphed in. Absolutely passive, but we can see at each stage why this made so much sense. So this wonderful Oracle and the sentries that have been throwing out the hallucination. Spot it. Spot the spider. Nice.
We meet our fate.
And now we just see the very easy transition 3 Stargate Chrono boosting out Phoenix. This has occurred quite a bit for SOS, where he just has 3 Stargates, not really doing a lot. We see a cannon in the main, we see more cannons being built here. Most Protosses don't really build that many cannons, are instead favoring the attacking. But SOS is like, well dude, yeah, I mean, I hit this button, I went to Zerg units, and then I looked at the Mutalisk, and it was like, weak against Phoenix. I guess I'll just build them. Here's the Mutalisk showing up. There's the Photon Overcharge. Watches. SOS takes less damage from Mutalisks. Coming up out of blue than any other Protoss player.
The enemy has discovered us.
So now there's just this Death Force, a weird Death Force with 5 Void Rays, 6 Phoenixes, 14 Stalkers, and 4 Colossus. Marching straight up to the front lines. The Phoenix from a separate control group ripping up everything. SOS does the smartest thing you'll ever see. He gets counterattacked, and he goes, oh dude, Zealots, stay. Everything else come back. Phoenixes, dart to the Mutalisks. Could be potentially bad, but this game's easy. Oh god. Etc. It was just the weirdest series of building choices I've seen a Protoss make in a long time. But when you stop to just think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. He sees his opponent teching up a lot, he knows his opponent's going to be kind of behind on Larva. SOS has already elected to play defensively by getting such an insanely fast third base. So, yeah, Colossus 3 Stargate is going to be a really good choice. Because, well, for one, this, but we had the flexibility to turn it back around so hard. So I gotta yawn because I'm tired. I'm sorry. Let me just do that. Let's take some questions. Let me just say thank you so much. I'm seeing all you wonderful folk in the chat be supportive of the fact that I just pooped and I just can't do it. I can't do it. Oh my god, look how much my eyes water when I yawn. I'm gonna yawn again. Get even watery eyes. Let's see if we can yawn tears really fast. Oh god, look at that. Oh my god, I look emotional right now. Let's take questions about early game. Nice little short show. Kind of simple. It's good. I think I might go to bed right now. Felicity Prime says, Day 9, can I have a piece of your arm hair for my birthday? Send me that email. Young John 3 says, Day 9, how should the Zerg respond to a cannon rush then? God, I want to cop out and just be like, you're fucked, man. If you can't rush, you're like a totally fucked person. But I'm going to try to collect my thoughts here. This is taking much longer for me to collect my thoughts than on a normal day, but let me try to get through this. So, when you're cannon rushed pretty hard, I would generally say that the mistake that can be made is trying to hop back onto a normal tract. What's the normal tract? 3 base, lots of drones, and teching. It's trying to both tech and get a lot of workers up. The 3 early bases provide enough economy to do both of those things. But when you get cannon rushed and you're thrown behind, you're stunted economically. So what does the Protoss have? Well, the Protoss is in one of 2 spots. He's either really behind on tech, which is what we saw in this game, or he's really behind on economy and still on point in tech. And that can be just a general guide to be able to identify which one of those he is. But I would broadly say to stay very focused, to stay really low tech and drone a lot and focus on your economic lead, or stay 2 base and tech faster, stay more clustered together, and exploit the fact that the Protoss is not as ahead on his tech. Just pick one or the other. Don't try to do both. Most of the time, in these games, the Protoss died because he's trying to do both. He's like trying to expand, try to raise that up and stuff. Trying to attack. Very tired. 2 more questions. Yeah, I think that we saw Curious do a good job. Hold that off. I see another question about Cannon Rush from Jeff Duss. Yeah, just try to hold it off as best you can and then stay very focused. I think there's nothing wrong with even going like 4 hatchery before gas or 4 hatchery 1 gas. Cloud Shops is day 9. How can you exploit a Protoss opening Forge first when you're Zerg? I'm going to assume that he's not doing anything weird. Should play very normally. Play as normally as you would ever. It's not a tremendous difference between going Nexus Forge, Forge Nexus. Not nearly enough to matter for the purposes of like a brief answer. It's like little tiny things. Like maybe sending Zerglings earlier to really force that cannon up to delay the gateway, but by and large there really shouldn't be a tremendous adjustment. Last question from Montosaurus Rex. What's your favorite color? I know this. FFA71A. Thank you for watching daily number 691. I'm very tired, but I'm going to try to sleep a lot. So tomorrow I can awaken and play Heroes of the Storm all day. Woo! Now I'm just going to play some great music. That sounds good.